The idea of a universal computer, formalised by Alan Turing, is that there exists a programmable machine which can perform the same task as any other programmable machine. That is the key at the heart of universality. This one thing can do all the things. So if there exists a computer programmed to be able to add, subtract, multiply and divide integers, then the universal computer could be programmed to do that too. If a computer program can be written that is able to operate a Tesla car, then a universal computer could serve that function too. When any special purpose computer, like a car driving computer or a pocket calculator, is performing its function, this is because it is running specialised software, generally on hardware, which is universal. And that means, given sufficient memory, that hardware could run any program, hence universality. On the assumption that the laws of quantum theory govern the universe, David Deutsch mathematically proved the Church-Turing thesis, namely, all physical processes are computable. If it happens in the physical universe, then it is governed by quantum theory, and hence the Church-Turing thesis might better be called the Church-Turing-Deutsch principle now, which means it's a law about other laws of physics. Any physical process must be able to be simulated, in principle, by a computer. This is the universality of computation. Any physical process obviously includes what human brains do. So what do human brains do? Well, they run minds. What is a mind? It is an explainer, universal as it so happens, for generating knowledge creatively. The mind is run on software, running on the hardware that is the brain. One thing the mind can do is emulate or simulate a universal Turing machine. To emulate a Turing machine does not require much. A Turing machine, or an emulation of one, simply needs memory and the ability to read and write simple symbols. Turing machines are basic devices following very simple rules. Our minds can not only simulate to arbitrary accuracy the activity of any Turing machine, however cumbersome this might be in practice, but they can explain or comprehend or understand any physical process as well. Understanding is something that brains do, or minds do, and therefore ultimately reduces to being a physical process. This understanding or explaining is a unique property of the software that is the human mind, or the minds of other people. A universal explainer is a mind, as a person is, and there are no levels above universal, and this is why fears about superintelligence are unfounded. We people, right here and right now, are already universal in our capacity to understand. And if we want to understand something faster, we create technology to help us. Tools such as electronic calculators, laptops, and large language models to help us. We can understand anything in principle, and anything that can understand things faster than us would itself be a physical process we could come to understand and make use of. Problems are soluble. Hence, no so-called superintelligence can exceed us in anything except how fast it processes or how much it remembers. But both of those are features of its hardware, which we already augment routinely with pen, paper and pocket calculator. In other words, insisting that nevertheless there is some superintelligence that must be able to understand things we cannot possibly understand is just to refuse to adopt the rational stance of taking our most fundamental theories of physics, like the Church-Turing-Deutsch principle, seriously. And it is doubly irrational given it is appealing to the supernatural, as ancient peoples always have when holding up something they say cannot be comprehended by mortal man. Like God. Only now, for some technologists, scientists and other commentators, God is not an omniscient being in the sky, but a soon-to-arrive oracle made of silicon who will exceed us in every way, despite the fact we already know it can't, because we are already universal. And there is no getting around the fact that once a system is universal for a particular set of tasks, like all possible physical processes, there are no levels above this, unless you believe in the supernatural, which those who insist on superintelligence and the unique dangers it would pose must. They are in the very same bucket as those who insist on the reality of demons and the dangers they pose. Unobserved, all-powerful, but coming if we do not take care. Rationality demands a commitment to realism and taking the best explanations we have now, seriously now, rather than being concerned that if or when those explanations are overturned, that it will mean only the very worst for humanity, rather than something better. That has never been so. The universe does not have it in for us. Knowledge of reality has always brought with it progress, objective improvements for humanity, including our capacity to understand the next most difficult problem that arises out of the last solution we discovered. As it always will be, unless we choose to stop making rapid progress and choose not to take advantage of this unique feature that we people possess, our ability to tackle any problem and explain any phenomenon and create any knowledge it is possible to create, because we are universal. We are universal explainers, universal knowledge creators. That is what a person is, and there can be no super people except us, as we stand in relation to our ancestors when it comes to what it is we know. And that is something it's very useful to understand.